The stars twinkled quietly in the vast darkness of space as Commander Lisa Howard stood on the bridge of the Earth defense ship Valiant. Her brown hair was neatly tied back, and her blue uniform showed the badges of 10 years of dedicated service. The ship's patrol route near Alpha Centauri had been peaceful for months, but today felt different. "Commander, I'm picking up strange energy readings," Lieutenant Peter Martinez called out from his sensor station. His fingers moved quickly across the glowing screens as he tried to make sense of the data. "They're unlike anything in our database." Lisa walked over to his station, her boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. "Show me," she said, leaning over to look at the readings. The strange patterns on the screen made her stomach tight with worry. The ship's AI assistant chimed in with its calm voice. "Unknown vessels detected. 3 ships entering our space. Design matches no known human patterns." The bridge crew fell silent. This was it, humanity's first contact with alien life. Lisa straightened her back and took a deep breath. "Battle stations," she ordered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "But don't power weapons yet. Let's not start a war by accident." Red lights began flashing throughout the ship as crew members rushed to their positions. The Valiant was ready for anything, but Lisa hoped for peace. The alien ships came into view on the main screen. They were beautiful in a strange way. Their hulls looked like they were made of crystal and living metal, glowing with a soft purple light. They were much bigger than the Valiant, each one about 3 times its size. "Open all communication channels," Lisa commanded. "Let's try to talk first." Before they could send any messages, the alien ships suddenly lit up with bright energy. "They're scanning us," Peter shouted, his eyes wide as he read the data. "Their scans are incredibly powerful. They're going right through our shields." Lisa didn't like this. A scan that strong without asking permission first wasn't friendly. It was like breaking into someone's house to look around. The largest alien ship sent a message. It appeared on their screens in surprisingly good English. "Primitive vessel, this space is now under Zaxthera control. Your technology is inferior. Surrender your ship for study or be destroyed. You have 5 minutes to comply." Lisa almost laughed. Primitive, inferior. Humanity had learned long ago not to judge others by appearances. "Send them our standard greeting package," she ordered. "Let's see if they're interested in peaceful contact." The aliens' response came quickly, a blast of energy that shook the Valiant. "Shields holding at 85%, reported Chief Engineer Susan Moore from the engine room. "But that was just a warning shot, Commander. They weren't really trying." Lisa's face hardened. "Well, if they want to play rough. Battle stations. Power up all weapons, but hold fire until my command. Let's show these Zaxtheri what primitive humans can do." The alien ships spread out, clearly preparing to surround the Valiant. They were using an old tactic that might work against less experienced crews. But humans had been studying space combat theory for centuries before they even left Earth. "They're charging weapons," Peter called out. His hands flew over his console as he analyzed the enemy ships. "Wait, Commander, I'm seeing something interesting about their shield patterns." "What is it, Lieutenant?" "Their shields. They're synchronized. All 3 ships are sharing one shield network. It's more powerful that way. But," Lisa finished his thought, "but if we can disrupt it at one point, the whole thing might fail." "Excellent work, Peter." She turned to her weapons officer. "Target the shield generator on the smallest ship. Their overconfidence means they probably put less power there." The Zaxtheri ships fired again, this time with full power. The Valiant rocked under the impact. "Shields at 60%, Susan reported. "But I'm rerouting power. We can take a few more hits like that." Lisa smiled. The aliens thought they were being clever, wearing down their shields. They didn't know that human shields were designed to be redundant, with backup systems for the backup systems. "Fire when ready," Lisa ordered. "Let's test Peter's theory." The Valiant's main guns roared to life, sending bright blue pulses of energy at the smallest Zaxtheri ship. The aliens clearly weren't worried. Their shields were far stronger than the Valiant's weapons, or so they thought. But Peter had spotted their weakness. The synchronized shield network meant that a disruption in one place would echo throughout the system. As the Valiant's carefully aimed shots hit their target, the aliens' overconfident strategy backfired. Their shields are fluctuating, Peter shouted excitedly. The synchronization is breaking down. The purple glow around the alien ships began to flicker and fade. The Zaxtheri commanders finally realized their mistake, but it was too late. Target their weapon systems, Lisa commanded. Disable, don't destroy. Let's show them we're more civilized than they thought. The Valiant's gun spoke again, this time hitting the now unprotected weapon ports on all three ships. Explosions bloomed silently in space as the aliens' main weapons went dark. They're powering down their remaining weapons, Peter reported, sounding almost surprised at how quickly the battle had turned. They're requesting mercy, Commander. Lisa straightened her uniform. Send this message. This primitive vessel accepts your surrender. Perhaps now we can discuss peaceful contact between our peoples. Also, you might want to update your assessment of human technology. The bridge crew tried to hide their grins as they watched the mighty Zaxtheri ships float powerless in space. News of this encounter would spread quickly through the galaxy. Humanity had been underestimated, and the Zaxtheri had learned a costly lesson. As Lisa looked at the alien ships on her screen, she knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy would soon learn that humanity wasn't just another primitive species to be conquered. They were a force to be reckoned with, a civilization that had spent centuries preparing for this moment. Send a message to Earth Command, she ordered. Tell them first contact has been made, and humanity's readiness has been tested. We passed with flying colors. The Valiant's AI began transmitting the message home, while the crew started preparations to escort their new guests back to Earth. The galaxy was about to learn an important lesson. Never judge humans by their appearance or the size of their ships. They had survived and thrived on one of the most challenging planets in known space, and that experience had made them stronger than anyone suspected. As Lisa looked around at her proud crew, she knew that this small battle would have huge consequences. The age of humanity hiding in its little corner of the galaxy was over. Now it was time to show the stars what humans could really do. You know, she said to her crew, I think things are about to get very interesting. She had no idea just how right she was. The galaxy would never be the same again. Admiral Christopher Wright stood at the window of Earth Defense Command, looking down at the bustling city below. News of Commander Howard's victory over the Zaxtheri ships had spread quickly, and now it was his job to prepare humanity for what would come next. Sir, his assistant called out, Chief Engineer Susan Moore is here with her report on the alien shield technology. Chris turned around to see Susan walking into his office, carrying a tablet filled with diagrams and data. Her eyes were bright with excitement, and he could tell she had found something important. You won't believe what we learned from those captured ships, Susan said, placing her tablet on his desk. Their shield technology isn't actually more advanced than ours. It's just different, and we've already figured out how to adapt it. She pulled up a 3D model showing how the Zaxtheri shields worked. See, they focus on pure power, trying to create an unbreakable wall. But our approach of using flexible, adaptable shields is actually better. We just need to combine the two methods. Chris nodded, studying the diagrams. How long until we can upgrade our fleet? That's the best part, Susan smiled. We can start today. I've already prepared the modification plans. Before they could discuss further, an alert sounded throughout the building. Captain Daniel Brown's voice came over the speakers. Admiral, we've detected a large group of Zaxtheri probe ships entering the solar system. They're heading for Mars colony. Chris straightened up. This was the test he'd been waiting for. Captain Brown, take the 4th Fleet. Show them what we've learned about their tactics. The next few hours were busy as Chris coordinated Earth's response from his command center. He watched as Captain Brown's ships moved into position, using strategies based on ancient Earth naval warfare, something the aliens would never expect. Instead of meeting the Zaxtheri head-on, the human ships split into small groups, just like the old submarine wolf packs from World War II. The alien probes, expecting another direct battle, were completely confused by these tactics. "Look at that," one of the officers said, pointing to the tactical display. "They don't know how to handle multiple small attack groups. Their formation is breaking apart." Chris smiled. Humanity had spent centuries practicing war games and developing space combat theories before they ever met real aliens. Now all that preparation was paying off. On the main screen, they watched as Captain Brown's ships darted in and out of asteroid fields, using the Space Rocks as cover. The Zaxtheri probes, with their bigger ships, couldn't follow them through the tight spaces. "Sir," Susan called out, "the new shield modifications are working perfectly. The Zaxtheri weapons aren't doing nearly as much damage as before." The battle continued for another hour, but the outcome was never in doubt. The alien probes, unable to cope with human battle tactics, were forced to retreat. Not a single human ship was lost. Later that day, Chris met with Dr. Catherine Lewis, head of Earth's military industries. She had more good news. "Every factory on Earth is now converting to produce space warfare equipment," she reported. "And we're not just copying the alien technology, we're improving it. Our workers are suggesting changes that make everything work better." "How is that possible?" Chris asked. "The Zaxtheri have had this technology for centuries." Catherine laughed. "That's exactly why we can improve it. They've been doing things the same way for so long. They never think about making changes. Humans are naturally curious. We always want to make things better." Their meeting was interrupted by another visitor, Major Amanda Parker from the Neural Interface Division. She looked like she hadn't slept in days, but she was smiling. "Admiral, you need to see this," she said, hooking up her computer to the room's main screen. "We've been studying how the Zaxtheri control their ships. Their neural interfaces are primitive compared to the ones we developed for video games 30 years ago." She showed them a comparison. The alien neural links were slow and simple, while human systems were fast and complex. "We've been preparing for full virtual reality space combat for decades," she explained. "Our pilots can literally feel their ships as if they were part of their own bodies. The aliens can't match that." Chris looked at the data in amazement. Humanity had developed so many advantages without even realizing it. All their games, simulations, and entertainment technology had accidentally prepared them for real space warfare. The day's final surprise came from Dr. William Hayes in the Weapons Division. He had discovered that Earth's quantum targeting systems, originally designed for peaceful space exploration, were far more advanced than anything the Zaxtheri had. "They rely too much on brute force," William explained. "Their weapons are powerful, but they can't aim as well as ours. Our precision targeting means we can disable their ships without destroying them." As Chris prepared his report for the world government, he thought about how strange it all was. The Zaxtheri had thought humans were primitive, but humanity's unique history had given them strengths the aliens never expected. Every war game they had played, every science fiction movie they had watched, every space simulation they had created, it had all helped prepare them for this moment. While the aliens had real experience in space, humans had spent centuries imagining every possible scenario and developing solutions for problems they hadn't even faced yet. "Send a message to all Earth forces," he ordered. "Tell them to prepare for full combat training using our new combined technologies. The Zaxtheri will be back, and next time they'll be ready for our basic tactics. We need to show them that humanity is just getting started." As the sun set over the Earth Defense Command building, Chris looked at the stars beginning to appear in the sky. Up there, somewhere, the Zaxtheri were probably planning their next move, but they still didn't understand what they were dealing with. Humans had spent their entire history adapting, improving, and overcoming challenges. They had climbed out of caves, built civilizations, reached for the stars. all while constantly preparing for threats they hadn't even met yet. The Zaxtheri had made a serious mistake. They had judged humanity by their current technology level, without understanding the incredible speed at which humans could adapt and improve. "The galaxy isn't ready for us," Chris said quietly to himself. "But ready or not, here we come." Ambassador Richard Cole adjusted his tie as he walked into the grand meeting hall of the Galactic Council. The room was filled with representatives from 30 different alien species, all watching him with mixed expressions of curiosity and concern. The Zaxtheri delegation sat at the front, their crystal-like skin glowing with barely hidden anger. "Honorable representatives," Richard began, his voice calm and steady, "humanity comes in peace. We seek only to defend ourselves and establish friendly relations with all species." While he spoke these peaceful words, Richard knew that back home, Earth's military was working harder than ever. But the aliens didn't need to know that part. A tall, blue-skinned alien stood up. "How can we trust humans? Your species defeated our Zaxtheri allies with unexpected tactics. You are dangerous and unpredictable." Richard smiled politely. "With respect, we only defended ourselves. The Zaxtheri attacked us first, assuming we were primitive. That was their mistake, not our fault." Meanwhile, back on Earth, Major Amanda Parker was making a discovery that would change everything. She stood in her lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing brainwave patterns from both humans and aliens. "This is amazing," she said to her team. "Our neural interfaces aren't just better than theirs. They're operating on a completely different level." She pointed to the patterns on the screen. "See how humans can process multiple streams of information at once. We developed this ability from years of using computers, playing video games, and handling complex tasks. The aliens never needed to develop these skills because their technology did everything for them." Across the city, Dr. William Hayes was having his own breakthrough moment with the quantum targeting systems. His lab was filled with pieces of alien technology, but his eyes were fixed on a small device his team had just finished building. "Run the test again," he ordered, watching as the computer simulated a space battle. The results made him smile. "Our targeting system is 10 times more accurate than anything the Zaxtheri have. We can disable their ships without destroying them." The success wasn't just in weapons and neural interfaces. General Laura Thompson was establishing the first human Space Force Academy, training young pilots to combine Earth's traditional military strategies with new space warfare techniques. She stood before the first class of cadets, her expression serious. "You're not just learning to fight," she told them. "You're learning to think in ways the aliens can't predict. That's humanity's greatest strength." Back at the Galactic Council, things were getting tense. A group of Zaxtheri ships had been detected moving toward Earth's colonies, but Richard couldn't let the other aliens know he was worried. "We understand your concerns," he said to the Council, "but humanity will defend itself if attacked. We would prefer peace, but we are ready for any outcome." His words caused a stir among the alien representatives. Some of them were starting to realize that the Zaxtheri might have made a serious mistake in provoking humans. A small green alien spoke up. "Perhaps we should reconsider our alliance with the Zaxtheri. These humans seem more reasonable than we were told." The Zaxtheri representative jumped up, angry. "They are primitive. They just got lucky." Richard kept his cool. "Is it luck when it happens repeatedly? Is it luck that we adapted your shield technology and improved it within days? Is it luck that our neural interfaces are more advanced than yours?" The room fell silent. Many aliens were beginning to nod, seeing the truth in his words. Just then, Richard's communicator buzzed. A message from Earth. Their quantum communication network had proven completely secure against alien hacking attempts. Another advantage the others didn't know about yet. One by one, several alien species began to pull away from the Zaxtheri alliance. They could see which way the wind was blowing. Humans weren't just strong. They were getting stronger every day. On Earth, the changes were happening faster than anyone expected. Factories worked around the clock, producing new ships with combined human and alien technology. Training centers were full of pilots learning to use the advanced neural interfaces. Scientists worked continuously, finding new ways to improve every piece of technology they studied. Late one night, Admiral Wright met with his top commanders to review their progress. "The Zax Theory think they know what we can do," he said, looking at the reports. "They've seen our ships, our weapons, our basic tactics, but they haven't seen anything yet." He pulled up a hologram showing Earth's new defensive systems. "We've taken every lesson from every war in human history. We've studied every battle strategy ever created. We've played out millions of possible scenarios in our simulations. We're not just ready for them. We're ready for anything they haven't even thought of yet." The alien council members who visited Earth's military facilities were shocked by what they saw. Humans weren't just copying alien technology. They were reinventing it, improving it, combining it in ways no one had ever considered. "How do you think of these things?" one alien ambassador asked after seeing the training simulations. General Thompson smiled. "We spent centuries preparing for aliens, even before we knew you existed. Every science fiction story, every space movie, every war game. They all helped us imagine possibilities and solutions. While you were actually traveling through space, we were imagining every possible thing that could happen out there." The Zax Theory made their move a week later, sending a fleet toward Earth's colonies. But this time, humanity was more than ready. As Richard Cole finished his final speech to the Galactic Council, he knew that a battle was about to begin. But he also knew something the Zax Theory didn't. Humanity had already won the larger war. Not through fighting, but by showing the galaxy that they were a force to be respected. "We came to the stars in peace," he told the council, "but we came prepared for anything." The Zax Theory's mistake wasn't in fighting us. It was in thinking we were primitive just because we were new to space. Humanity has been preparing for this moment for centuries, even if we didn't know it. The gallery of alien representatives murmured in agreement. The age of underestimating humans was over. Now, the real question was, what would humanity do next? The alarms on New Mars colony screamed through the night. Captain Michelle Rodriguez stood at her command post, watching as hundreds of Zax Theory ships appeared from hyperspace. The colony's night sky lit up like daytime as the massive alien fleet took position. "All civilians to the underground shelters," she ordered through the colony's communication system. "This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." The Zax Theory had finally made their big move, attacking all human colonies at once. They thought this surprise attack would overwhelm Earth's defenses. They were wrong. Dr. John Carter ran into the command center, holding a small device in his hands. "Captain, the stealth systems are ready." Michelle nodded. This was humanity's secret weapon. Technology that could make entire ships disappear from alien sensors. They had kept it hidden, waiting for this moment. "Activate the stealth net," she commanded. All around the colony, hidden generators powered up. The Zax Theory ships suddenly lost track of half the human defenses. On Earth, Operations Director Nancy Miller watched the attacks through the quantum communication network. The aliens had tried to cut off communications between Earth and its colonies, but they couldn't break through the quantum encryption. "All colonies are responding," Nancy reported to Admiral Wright. "Stealth systems are working perfectly. The Zax Theory are firing at empty space, while our ships slip past their defenses." The battle for New Mars colony was fierce. Lieutenant Kevin Phillips commanded the defense ship Guardian, protecting a group of civilian transport ships trying to escape the fighting. "Enemy ships approaching," his sensor officer called out. "They're targeting the civilian ships." Kevin made a quick decision. Move the Guardian between them and the transports. Divert all power to forward shields. His crew looked worried but trusted him. The Guardian turned to face the incoming Zax Theory ships, becoming a shield for the escaping civilians. "Sir," his engineer called out, "our shields can't take that much fire. They don't need to last forever. Kevin replied calmly. Just long enough. The Zaxtheri ships opened fire, their weapons blazing across space. The Guardian shook with each hit, but Kevin held his position. One by one, the civilian ships jumped to safety. Shields failing, the engineer shouted. Kevin smiled. All hands, abandon ship, get to the escape pods. He looked at the last civilian ship making its jump. We did our job. The Guardian exploded in a bright flash, but not before all its crew escaped, and the last civilian ship made it to safety. Kevin's sacrifice would not be forgotten. Back at New Mars Colony, Michelle was putting Earth's new weapons to good use. The quantum targeting systems let her ships hit the Zaxtheri with perfect accuracy, disabling their weapons without destroying the ships. Look at their formation, she told her officers. They still think we're primitive. They're not even trying to adapt their tactics. She was right. The Zaxtheri fought the same way they always had, using brute force and overwhelming numbers. But humanity had spent centuries thinking about space warfare, creating new strategies, and preparing for every possibility. Launch the drone swarms, Michelle ordered. Thousands of small automated drones shot out from hidden bases around the colony. Another human innovation. The Zaxtheri didn't believe in unmanned ships, thinking they were beneath them. The drones swarmed around the alien ships, jamming their sensors and disrupting their shield frequencies. In Earth's Defense Command, Nancy Miller noticed something interesting. "Admiral, look at this," she said, pointing to her screen. The Zaxtheri ships aren't talking to each other. Each captain is fighting alone. Admiral Wright understood immediately. They never learned to work together. Their empire grew so powerful, they never needed to cooperate. He smiled. But humans, cooperation is how we survived on Earth. He sent new orders to all human forces. Coordinate your attacks. Work together. Show them what humans can do. The battle raged for hours. But slowly, steadily, the tide turned. Human ships, working in perfect coordination, protected each other and struck at the enemy's weak points. The stealth systems kept the Zaxtheri confused, while the quantum targeting let humans disable ships without destroying them. On New Mars Colony, Michelle watched as the mighty alien fleet began to retreat. Their attack had failed. Not only failed, it had shown the entire galaxy that humanity was far stronger than anyone had guessed. "Send a message to the Zaxtheri fleet," she ordered. "Tell them, we're still willing to talk about peace, but now you know what happens if you choose war instead." The response came quickly. The Zaxtheri fleet commander himself sent a message. "How? How did you defeat us? We had more ships, more power." Michelle's response was simple. "Because you thought size and power were everything. You forgot that war isn't just about who has the biggest ships or the strongest weapons. It's about innovation, adaptation, and working together. Humans have been practicing those things for our entire history." As the alien ships retreated from all human colonies, the news spread quickly through the galaxy. The mighty Zaxtheri fleet had been defeated not once, but everywhere they attacked. And the humans had done it while saving as many alien lives as possible, disabling ships instead of destroying them. Kevin Phillips became a hero throughout human space. His sacrifice saved hundreds of lives and showed the galaxy that humans would risk everything to protect civilians, even alien civilians caught in the crossfire. In the following days, more alien species began approaching Earth for alliances. They had seen how humans fought, not just with power, but with skill and honor. Many realized that having humans as friends would be much better than having them as enemies. Dr. John Carter's stealth technology became the talk of the galaxy. Many alien scientists had believed it was impossible, but humans had done it. They had taken an idea from science fiction stories and made it real. Nancy Miller's quantum communication network proved that humans were not just good at fighting. They were also good at protecting information. Not a single human transmission had been intercepted during the entire battle. As Michelle Rodriguez looked out at the red sands of Mars through her office window, she thought about how far humanity had come. In just a few years, they had gone from being seen as primitives to becoming one of the most respected forces in the galaxy. "Send a message to Earth Command," she told her staff. "Tell them New Mars colony is secure, and we're ready to help rebuild. And add this: the Zaxtheri learned an important lesson today. Never underestimate humans. We're full of surprises." 3 months after the great battle at New Mars colony, Admiral Elizabeth Stewart stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Defender. Through the main viewport, she could see the purple crystal world of Zaxthar Prime, home of the once mighty empire that had underestimated humanity. "Status report," she called out to her crew. "Their orbital defenses are powered down," Lieutenant Ryan Cooper replied from his station. "The Zaxtheri are following the peace agreement. No hostile actions detected." Elizabeth nodded. After their defeat at the colonies, the Zaxtheri had finally agreed to peace talks. But she wasn't here for talks. She was here to help them. "Launch the medical ships," she ordered. "Let's show them what humanity is really about." A fleet of white ships, marked with the Red Cross of Human Medical Services, moved toward the planet. The Zaxtheri had been hit by a terrible plague, and Earth had offered to help. Some alien species thought this was strange, helping a former enemy. But they didn't understand humans yet. Fleet Commander Paul Davidson watched from his ship as the medical teams landed. "Sometimes the best way to make peace is to help your former enemies," he said to his crew. "That's something humans learned a long time ago." On the surface of Zaxthar Prime, Dr. Sarah Wilson led the medical team into the alien hospital. The Zaxtheri doctors looked at the humans with a mixture of fear and hope. "We're here to help," Sarah told them, speaking through a translator. "Your people and our people fought yesterday, but today we work together." The aliens were surprised by the humans' advanced medical knowledge. Earth had spent centuries preparing for all kinds of diseases, even ones they hadn't met yet. Now those preparations were saving alien lives. Back in space, Elizabeth received an urgent message from Earth. The Galactic Council was calling an emergency meeting. Something big was happening. "All ships, prepare for jump to Earth," she ordered. "The medical teams will stay here and continue their work." When they arrived at Earth, they found representatives from every major alien civilization waiting. The huge meeting hall was packed with beings of all shapes and sizes. Ambassador Richard Cole stood at the main podium, looking confident. Next to him stood Admiral Wright and several alien leaders. "Today," Richard announced, "we are here to sign the Galactic Concordat, a new agreement for peace and cooperation between all spacefaring species." The room buzzed with excitement. This was more than just a peace treaty. This was a complete change in how the galaxy worked. "Humanity has shown us a new way," a tall, blue-skinned alien said. "They defeated the Zaxtheri not through destruction, but through superior thinking. And then, instead of crushing their enemies, they offered help." One by one, alien representatives stood up to speak. They all said similar things. Humanity had changed everything, not just through their technology or their fighting skills, but through their way of thinking. "In just 1 year," another alien said, "humans went from being unknown primitives to becoming one of the most important species in the galaxy, not because they were strongest, but because they were smartest." Paul Davidson listened to the speeches with interest. He remembered how it all started, with that first battle where Commander Howard showed the Zaxtheri their mistake. Since then, humans had surprised the galaxy again and again. The new Concordat wasn't just about peace. It included agreements to share technology, establish trade routes, and work together to solve problems. Humanity would play a big role in all of it. "We need human creativity," one alien leader said. "We need human ways of thinking. We have grown too comfortable, too set in our ways. Humans remind us that there are always new things to learn." After the signing ceremony, Elizabeth met with her fellow commanders to talk about the future. "The Zaxtheri aren't our enemies anymore," she said. "None of these aliens are our enemies. But we'll keep preparing, keep improving. That's what humans do." Admiral Wright agreed. We've already started designing new ships that combine technology from 5 different species. Our scientists are working with alien experts to solve problems neither of us could fix alone. On New Mars colony, Captain Rodriguez watched the ceremony on the quantum network. Her colony had become a symbol of human determination, and now it would become something more. A place where humans and aliens could live and work together. The memorial to Lieutenant Phillips had become famous throughout the galaxy. Aliens came to see the statue of the human who gave his life to save others, even aliens who were supposed to be his enemies. They were learning that humans could be both strong warriors and compassionate friends. Dr. John Carter's stealth technology was being studied by alien scientists while he learned about their power systems. Nancy Miller's quantum communications were being combined with alien networks to create something entirely new. Everywhere, humans and aliens were working together, learning from each other. "This is what we were meant to do," Paul said, looking at Earth through his ship's window. "Not just fight wars or build technology, but bring people together. Show the galaxy a new way of doing things." A year ago, the galaxy had thought humans were primitives. Now they knew better. Humans weren't just another species with ships and weapons. They were innovators, dreamers, people who never stopped trying to make things better. The Zaxtheri had learned this lesson the hard way, but now they were learning other things about humans, like forgiveness, cooperation, and the power of working together. As Elizabeth prepared to return to Zaxthar Prime with more medical supplies, she thought about how much had changed. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was a good thing. "Send a message to all ships," she ordered. "Tell them the future starts today. And thanks to human determination and creativity, it's going to be a bright one." Across the galaxy, aliens looked at the strange species called humans with new respect. These beings had gone from unknown primitives to key players in galactic politics in just 1 year. Not through conquest or destruction, but through innovation, adaptation, and an unshakable determination to make things better. The age of underestimating humans was over. The age of learning from them had begun.